you do an appointment?
With my clients?
Yeah.
Pretty much every appointment.
Every appointment. Every single appointment, she talks about retirement plans. I talk about retirement plans in every single appointment as well. Here's the misconception that you have to have a securities license to talk about retirement plans. That is not true. Because, I don't know, it was 20 years ago, but when you study for the life insurance exam, does it talk about qualified plans? It does. So you can talk about qualified plans. My suggestion, especially to young people, right, and anybody that's new, is that the presentation that Tia just did, that is not a long presentation. I would try to fit in what I'm about to go over right now, which is the qualified plans presentation. Here's the secret. A lot of people do insurance with me because they want my investments. And sometimes I imply that that's a requirement. Right or wrong, sometimes I do. Because if you need insurance and you just don't want it, and then you want me to do your investment, no. I'm not an order taker. I'm not saying, hey, which one do you want? That's not how I see myself. So either I'm going to be your advisor, you're going to take my advice, I'm happy to help you with investments, but then you have to do insurance. So a lot of times I will backdoor the insurance through creating interest on the retirement or the investment side. You guys with me? Okay. So let's go through how we talk about qualified plans. Just go right to it. So this is in our investment presentation, which everyone can get a copy of. All right, so now Mr. and Mrs. Client, let's go over something called qualified plans. You've heard of these before. You have 401k, 403b, TSP, IRA, Roth IRA, SEP IRA. All of these are qualified plans. And what the word qualified means in this sense is accounts that are getting, they're qualified to get special tax treatment. That is what a qualified plan means. So people ask sometimes, well, how do qualified plans work? And sometimes I hear comments like, oh, 401ks are good. 401k is bad. My 401k went up, went down. Well, actually, the 401k is not doing anything. The 401k is just the shelter around your money. So a qualified plan is a tax shelter. So let me explain how this works. Let's say that you put in $10,000 in anything. And over time, that $10,000 grows to $100,000. Okay, so you have $90,000 of profit in there. Anytime your money makes money, what does the government want? Taxes. So what a qualified plan does, it creates a shield around your money so the government can't necessarily tax it. Sometimes not yet, sometimes not ever. That is what a qualified plan is. It's just the exterior, right? If you think about a car has the exterior, but what makes the car go fast? The engine. What's making your 401k do good or do bad or go up or go down is what is inside of that qualified plan. What is the engine inside of your qualified plan? So a qualified plan can have nothing in it. It can just have cash. I've seen that before. If someone goes to a bank, they open up an IRA, they're like, whoopee, I have an IRA. No, it's never going to grow, right? In your qualified plan, you have a lawnmower engine. That's not going to get you anywhere. Does that make sense? So you have to have the right type of engine. So you can have mutual funds, stocks, bonds, cash, but there's two components to a qualified plan. What's inside it, and then also what shelter you decide to put around it. So there are two types of qualified plans. The first one is called tax deferred, and I like to call that tax delayed. We're delaying the payment of taxes until a later time. In this one, you take $10,000 pre-tax, which means you're not taxed on this money. This is deducted from your income. You're not paying taxes on it. $10,000 pre-tax. Now, just like the example above, your $10,000 eventually with compound interest, it grows to $100,000. Now you are of age, you are 59 and a half or 60 or 65, and you say, all right, government, I've waited all this time to get my money. I'm ready to get my money out. And they say, well, You never paid taxes on this money, you delayed it, so you're not really gonna get the whole 100,000, you're gonna get more like 75,000. Because that entire balance is going to be taxed as you withdraw it. So a qualified plan is taxed on everything, the principal, which is what you put in, and all the growth. And that is how a 401k works, a 403b works, a TSP works, a SEP IRA, a regular IRA. The point is that most qualified plans are tax deferred. Why? Because that's the way the government wants it. They want to eventually get their money back that they are owed. But there's one other type of qualified plan, and this one is called tax-free. That one even sounds better, right? And this one is different because if you take $10,000 and you put it into this program, this is after-tax money, so there was no tax benefit in putting the money in, but when this same 10,000 grows to 100,000, you are going to get, when you retire, the full 100,000. Okay? Now let me ask you a question. Would you rather pay taxes on the 10,000, just the 10,000 you put in, or the full 100,000? What would you rather pay taxes on? 10,000 or 100,000? Very important question. Yeah, of course. Because see, and I'll go on a little tangent here. When you think about how compound interest is calculated, over a 20, 30-year period, only 10% of the account is what you put in. The rest of it is all interest and growth. So in a tax-free account, I'm only paying taxes on maybe 10% of the account. The rest of it is all going to be free and clear for me to use. So now, Bar, it's obvious that tax-free is better than tax-deferred. Okay? But when it comes to retirement, is that the number one priority? So let's kind of go through this. First of all, and you can kind of do these interchangeably, but let's look at, sometimes people argue, actually, yeah, let me do this first. That's fine. I'll do this. Well, you can leave it. Okay? So, okay, I'll start up here. So let's talk about the pecking order for your retirement. So we know that tax-free is better than tax-deferred, but what is the order of priority for your retirement funds? It's actually not the Roth IRA, it's your 401k up to the match. So Mary Grace, what percent are they matching at your job?
It's one. Because there's a pension.
Okay, so she's only getting a 1% match.
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
And then she gets a pension outside of that 1%.
So Mary Grace is getting a 1% match. That means if she puts in 1% of her income, right, they're going to put in 1% of her income. Who else has are you working right now a regular job? No? Who's working a regular job? Okay, what percent are they matching? 50%. 50%. So if he puts in 5, they put in 2.5. That's a 50% match. So if someone is making 100 grand, they put in 5% of their income, which is 5,000. The company will put in 2,500 for nothing. But what are we really looking for? We're looking for that 100% match, right? So Medigu, what's your company matching? 5%. 5%. 100%, 5%, right? So if he puts in 5%, they're putting in 5%. That is the number one priority for your retirement contributions. That's the number one. It shouldn't be the only one, but it is the first one. Why? Because think about it. If I'm making 100 grand a year and I'm putting in 5%, that is $433 a month that I'm putting in, and they're matching me $433. They're doubling my money. It doesn't matter if I'm taxed later because they're more than paying the taxes for me. You guys with me? That's free money. And by the way, side conversation is sometimes I tell this to people when they don't have a match. When you are not taking advantage of the match, you are underpaying yourself because that is part of your total compensation package. They figured out your salary with the assumption being that you are going to put money into the 401k. And when you're not, you are underpaying yourself. And then we have insurance agents out there that are telling people don't put money in your 401k. They're losing out on the match, the free money.
They're calling it a scam.
It's crazy. Now, if your company's matching 5, should you put in 10? No, because there's no benefit after the match other than tax deferral, right? So we want you to just put in up to the match, And then anything that you can do outside of it, now let's take advantage of that Roth IRA. And now some companies offer a Roth 401k as well. Many do. But if they don't, we have a Roth IRA. Now, if you're fortunate enough to be able to fully match and fully fund the Roth IRA for you and your spouse, then you can go back and increase your 401k contribution limit. Right? Now, some people argue, well, what's better, the 401k or the Roth IRA? So let's look at how the government limits the Roth IRA. If it wasn't better, why would there be these limitations? In a 401k this year, you can put in $23,000, right? If you're 50 or above, you can put in $30,000. But $23,000 is the contribution limit, and anyone can put money into a 401k. There's no income limit. You can make $200, $300, put money in a 401k. In a Roth IRA, you can only put $7,000 compared to $23,000, and there is an income limit on who can get in. If you're single, it's right around $146 to $160 that you can make. If you're married, it's right around $240 as a combined income. So you two, $240, no more Roth. But if you look at it, right, like one of the conversations that I have with people, especially young people, I'm like, you want to be able to put money into the Roth while you can, because eventually you'll probably be making more than this. Now, they may not, but I always say that to create some urgency, right? Put it in while you can, because one day you may not qualify. A lot of my clients, they wish they could put money into a Roth, but they can't anymore. Let's go next. Actually, this doesn't apply. Let me show you one other thing here. I'm going to send Thomas this. I want to show you a hypothetical for a Roth. So this part, everything I've done so far, you can do without a securities license. But this part here, you will need a securities license. You have it, the Roth, for 2024. So watch this. So now, if I sit down with someone and they want to see how a Roth will work, then I'll show them. Okay? So $7,000 is the contribution limit. That's the most that you can do. These are actual numbers starting in 1984. If someone put in $7,000 per year, then this is the ending value over here. Right? So after 5 years, you've put in 35. This actual investment in 5 years, now they have 45. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you've put in 70,000, you have 140,000 in this particular fund after 10 years, right? But since 1984, let's go to 2004, you have 700,000. So you've put in, how much have you put in 20 years? 140, right? So you put in 140, you have 700,000. Let's go 30 years out. Which would I guess would be what, 14? Yep. Right? You have 1.5 million. So after 30 years, you have 1.5 million. You're ready to retire. Now I tell the computer, start giving them 5-6% of their account balance. Now you're not making any more contributions. You're just taking money out. So you may have Social Security, you may have a pension, you may have whatever else, but your investments are paying you well into the 6 figures every year. Not bad. But let's look at this. I put in money for 30 years, I withdrew for 10 years, so I put in 209,000. In the last 10 years, I've withdrawn 1.1 million. So from 200,000, I took out 1.2 million actually, and today I still have 2.6 million left over. And since I did this, the market is up another 12%. Now, if I show this to someone, you think they're going to argue with me about a $100 policy? They'd be crazy. They want this. they're gonna do their $100 policy. That's why you wanna get your securities license so you can kinda leverage all of this. This is greed driven. Insurance is selfless. Not everyone is selfless. But investments, everybody wants more investments, bigger retirement, higher rate of return. So you have to bank one off the other, and that way you can get them both. Okay? Any questions about this as we finish up? Sheila, any comments on this?
Oh, it's great.
Kind of a typical response I get from someone that has like a 401k, TSP, or whatever. My company also gives me a Roth TSP 401k. What's your way of responding back?
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Well, the
You
way
know?
you respond to that, I just say we were limited with the options in your 401k. When
Yeah.
you go through a brokerage, you have multiple companies, multiple mutual funds to choose.
Exactly, and that was really my follow-up, because if it's TSP and they can do Roth TSP, well, the funds in there, right, you're very limited, you only have 3 equity funds, they're all index funds, we can do probably a little bit better than that. Anything else?
These numbers there, is that putting the money to work on like your own, like index funds, all of that, like stocks and stuff?
Mutual funds, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Because, one thing, when I talk to like my friends,
Yeah.
and then we start talking about these things, many people think that just having a Roth IRA and the money there is gonna do something, and it's not, like they have to know that they have to put it to work in other stuff, right?
Exactly.
So.
That's the thing, you go to the bank, Navy Federal, they open up a Roth IRA, and it's growing at 2%, it's never gonna look like this,
Yes.
0%.
0.3.
I think that's a highlight that we always
Yeah.
have to like educate
Yeah.
whoever we're talking to.
All right, so Fast Start School on Friday. Make sure you clear your schedule Friday and then Saturday. What else we got going on? Register for the convention. Pool party has been pushed back because Shaq's father-in-law isn't doing well. That's why he's not here. He's out of town, so we'll do that on June 8th. Right? After training, June 8th, so we have to go through the event, whatever. So qualifiers will get to come to that. Maybe we'll extend it as well. What else? And then month end. Month end. So we gotta focus on hitting our numbers. Where are you at, Sheila, for base shop?
29,000.
29,000, more than a week left. Anybody wanna compete? No?
training on Monday.
All right, team on 3. 1, 2, 3.